Welcome to Module 3, Session 1, Legal Foundation of Inclusive Education. In this session, we will explore the following topics: understanding disability and special needs, defining various types of disabilities and special needs, describing the characteristics and challenges associated with different disabilities, explaining the concept of neurodiversity and its implication for education. The legal and ethical considerations, identifying relevant laws, policies, and regulations governing the education of students with special needs, understanding the rights of students with disabilities and the obligation of educational institutions. Disability is a broad term that encompasses a wide range of impairments, including physical, intellectual, developmental disabilities, mental health conditions, chronic illnesses, and learning disabilities. Special needs often refers to the specific requirements of individuals with disabilities in various aspects of life, including education, employment, healthcare, social interactions, and access to services. Sources that provide definitions and information about disabilities and students with special needs are the following. The World Health Organization provides information on disabilities and their classification through the International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health. The National Center for Learning Disability is an organization dedicated to improving the lives of individuals with learning and attention issues. The National Dissemination Center for Children and Disabilities offers information and resources to support families and professionals working with children with disabilities. Autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and other developmental conditions are part of the normal spectrum of human diversity rather than be viewed solely as disorders or deficits. Embracing the concept of neurodiversity in education has the potential to create more inclusive, equitable, and supportive learning environments where all students can reach their full potential. The neurodiversity perspective includes the recognition of individual strengths, differentiated instruction, promotion of acceptance, inclusion, accommodations and support services, advocacy, and awareness. The World Health Organization in 1980 created the International Classification of Impairments, Disabilities, and Handicap. As the classification stated, impairment is the loss or anomaly of a structure or function. Disability is a limitation or loss resulting from the impairment of the ability to perform an activity in the way considered normal for a human being. Handicap is a situation or social disadvantage resulting from the impairment or disability that limits or prevents the fulfillment of a normal role for the individual. The International Classification of Functioning of Disability and Health considers body structures and functions as loss or abnormality of the body or physiological and or psychological function. Personal activities as easy activities that could have limitations about the nature, duration, and quality. Social participation as interaction between body, structure, and functions, activities, contextual factors in all areas and aspects of life. Biopsychosocial model connects person health with the environment, defining disability as a condition inherent of personal disadvantage that could become a limitation if the person interacts in an unfavorable environment. Consequently, social context will have to adapt progressively to the needs of persons with disability. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities has been adopted in 2006. It constitutes the first international document regarding disability for states members and represents the first international mandatory act of the 21st century in the field of human rights. The principles are the following: person with disabilities as legal subjectivity, the recognition of diversity for persons with disabilities as a result of interaction between impairments and behavioral and environmental barriers, individual autonomy and independence of persons with disabilities and right of own choice, accessibility to physical, social, economic, and cultural structures as education, information, and communication. The ONU Convention constitutes a commitment for all member countries to amend or to repeal domestic legislation that contradicts its principles, obliging them to take all appropriate legislative, administrative measures to implement the rights and freedoms recognized, to promote research and development of services, equipments universally designed for specific needs of persons with disabilities, to promote availability of new technologies and mobility aids to persons with disabilities, to promote the training of professionals and specialized staff to guarantee better services and care. Recognize the right of education, so the Member States are committed to structure an inclusive education system at all levels and a lifelong learning. It is requested to Member States that persons with disabilities receive the support needed and customized by specialized staff and techniques, teaching materials, and appropriate tools to foster school progress and socialization in order to achieve a full integration. Please give a look to the message on the International Day of Persons with Disabilities by the Director General of World Health Organization. In Europe, in 1974, it has been approved by the European Council the first resolution with recommendation to process a program of action for the employment and social integration of handicapped persons. 4 action programs were prepared to support Member States in facilitating vocational training and possible job placement. With the establishment of the biopsychosocial model in 1996, it was launched the first strategy of the European Union towards persons with disabilities. The Amsterdam Treaty established the principle of non-discrimination, assigning to the European Union the competence to oppose any kind of discrimination, among which are those related to handicap. And the European Directive established a general framework for equal treatment in employment and occupation regardless of the status of disability. The EU legislation steps began in 2000 with the commitment of EU to create the Charter of Fundamental Rights. In 2003, we proclaimed the European Year of Persons with Disabilities and European Disability Action Plan. In 2010, we have the European Disability Strategy until 2020. In 2019, the European Accessibility Act. In 2021, we have the European Disability Strategy 2021-2030. The EU Charter of Fundamental Rights established direct discrimination, less favorable treatment that one person experiences than another, and indirect discrimination, presence of provisions criteria that result in a disadvantage for persons professing a certain religion, handicapped, and so on. The European Disability Strategy 2010-2020 defines 8 specific areas of EU intervention: accessibility to goods, public services and assistance devices, participation to society, equality, employment, education and training, social protection, health, external action. The European Disability Strategy 2021-2030 takes into consideration the different disability profiles and the increased prevalence of age-related disabilities with the following actions: accessibility as enabling factor of rights, autonomy and equality, enjoyment of EU rights, respectable and independent quality of life, equity in access and non-discrimination, worldwide promotion of rights for persons with disabilities, efficient implementation, offer an example, awareness, governance, and progress evaluation. Please give a look to the announcement of the European Disability Strategy. Thank you for your attention.